care at this time. But there's a process. You cannot just put that flag. You have to, like I said, there's a site called, I don't think I showed it, right?
Preload.
Yeah, it's just preload. So there's a process, I'll show you. So in order to be that HSTS preload, you have to go to this website, HSTS preload, and you have to follow these steps. These are the requirements. I know it's too small.
This is to set up.
For setting up, yeah, you are a security guy, so you should probably.
So this is to add in the HTML or JSP page, right? I mean,
No. To submit your site to be recognized by the browsers, so that it will not serve as non-HTTP. So basically, if you submit this process, all these things, all the browsers will not submit that application as an HTTP site. It will serve only as HTTP. You cannot do SSL strip attacks if you do this process. But for that, you need to have a valid certificate, SSL certificate. That's another reason. I mean, for moving to HTTPS, because only for HTTPS.
So the client has to download this valid SSL certificate?
They need to have a valid cert.
It cannot be self-sign also.
It cannot be self-sign.
HTTPS will not work.
But you can use Let's Encrypt. That is a valid certificate which every browser knows. So if you process this, any external facing websites for any company, I mean, they should do this. Anything even moderately critical, or if they are worried about security, if it has a login name, password, or any sensitive information, they should go for this. Because it's a simple process, but no one is doing it. They're slowly moving. Okay.
Is
I'm
this
sure.
part of the, do you install this on the web servers or on the starting the main?
See, you have a company website which is like HTTPS today. But right now you can do SSL stripping attacks against those sites.
Right.
Okay. But in order to protect, you have to do these things and submit to this HSTS preload site. Once you do that, this site every week or every day they go and put it on the browsers. All the browsers, IE, Firefox, Chrome, everything, they put these things on the browsers. So anyone, next time they go to your website, your company website, and if someone is doing SSL strip attacks, it is not going to work. The browser will come back and say, no, this doesn't support HTTP. Right? I mean, so the SSL strip attacks won't work. And this is the only fix I understand to fix against SSL strip attacks.
Is there a way that, so for instance, my organization outsources for third-party web management. Is there a way I can validate that they have enabled this?
Yeah,
or something similar?
You can easily find this if it's enabled or not.
Okay.
I mean, it is just, you use Burp Suite.
Okay.
Okay, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw Burp Suite, right? The commercial version has a scanner. I don't know if you guys know that. It's pretty cheap. It's $200 per year. Okay, if you're interested in web security, get your company to get that license for you. It's worth it, right? Or any Zap scanner. I don't know if you guys know about Zap. It's by OWASP. That's a pretty nice tool. I use it all the time, and it has a free scanner. Just take the tool on any of your company site and then scan it. So it's called OWASP Z Attack Proxy Project. It's a simple executable. It runs on Windows, it runs on Linux, Mac, everything. Just download, install it, and you can just give it a URL. It will scan it automatically. It's a very nice tool. And you can also do a proxy like you do for Burp, and then you can change the thing and you can do that.
So how is it different than like Web Inspect 45?
It's all the same. I mean, so we have Burp and we have this one, and for Windows we have something called Fiddler.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
those are the three common ones. Fiddler is good if it is a Microsoft-based product. Like, I mean, if it is using like proprietary protocols of Microsoft, Fiddler is a good tool. But 90% of the time, Burp Proxy is good. I use Burp Proxy because it's
Fiddler
clean.
we use for tracking the code also.
Code.
For Java code, we use heavily Fiddler, like especially on the cloud. So when we are testing our applications to find what's going on when the user is sending the request, we use Fiddler all the time. The logs come into Fiddler.
Yeah,
it's a sub function of.
But I've never used it as a security. Like
You can use.
No, it's a proxy. It's a basically
proxy,
proxy.
that's all.
You can intercept,
But,
you can inject, you can monitor the traffic, and you can inject it back. So you can do all this replay attacks and everything using all these. Any proxy tool is good. This Web Inspect or Qualys Web Application Scanner, App Scan, which I used a lot because I was at IBM. Those are all like a full-blown scanners. You just point it, and it'll ask you for the login name, password. It's a wizard, and then it'll scan. But it doesn't work well these days. The problem is, I used AppScan for 5 years with all commercial companies because they got the license. The problem with those automated scanners is, even though you tell them not to try on the login page, somehow it will find a way through some of the links, backlink, and it will lock out your passwords and logins. A lot of good sites has a lockout policy. So if you have bad passwords for 5 times, it will lock out, right? It's cruise. So I've been burned in many of my engagements. It will lock out, and it's a pain to go back to the client and say, can you unlock this thing? So I've always gone back to my manual testing. So Burp is good because you can do partial, semi-automated attacks. So you can take just one link and you can just do like fuzzing on just that one link, right? So that's why it's nice. I don't know, did you guys show them like fuzzing and stuff, basic fuzzing?
We did that intruder.
Yeah, intruder is one you can give a parameter which you want to fuzz, and just that for one link you're fuzzing that parameter, right? But these automated tools like Web Inspect, it's going to do anything, and you don't know what the hell it's doing, right? But you want to have control over that, which it's attacking, because sometimes if for some reason AppScan found a SQL injection, you don't know what it is doing. It can delete a table, or typically it won't. They don't have delete commands in there, but sometimes it can inject a lot of data. I don't know if you run the AppScan or any of these Web Inspect tools and go back to the web application, you'll see hundreds of records in some table, because it is a form. It will form and it will submit it automatically. So you will have like 100 different fields, which sometimes if it's a commercial thing, the client is going to balk at you. You don't want that. So it's better to use this semi-automated for any web application testing.
And primary difference is here you have scanner also in Zap, but for work you need to
buy it.
Buy it. So
But that is worth it. If you guys do web application testing, just buy the $200. For 3 years I paid for myself and I bought it. When even my company said no. For me, $200 is cheap if I can get my work done. So
No,
don't worry.
$500.
It is
Per
$500.
year.
No.
Yeah,
Really?
I bought it.
Oh, really?
Not now, but maybe 2 3 years back. It's $500 per year the license fee. The
They
freeware
increased-
doesn't have much.
Because for the last 4 years, my company's been paying. They have like 10, 15 commercial licenses. I didn't even buy it. But when I used to buy it, used to be $200. Again, that I remember when they were in free beta version. I was trying that, and I know how those guys became rich. It became so popular, and then everyone started using that. So
I
it's-
stopped buying it because it's become $500 every year.
Yeah. If company sponsoring is worth it, and still, if you guys into security, you should just go tell your company to buy that. It's very nice too. So it's a clean interface, and the good thing with that is, I don't know. There is a marketplace in that Burp Suite. I don't know if I have Burp Suite in here. There's one of the tabs. You can go. There's a lot of plugins. You can write your own plugin if you want. So that's another way to learn. So you don't have to write a tool from scratch, but you can do a plugin, and then you can. It's a free thing. You can contribute and learn from that too. So you can do like a JavaScript thing where you automatically plug in. It'll automatically find SQL injections. Though Burp will find it, but those plugins also you can write to, because you inject into the Burp Suite, Java Suite, and then you can do some. You'll get all the post parameters within that Burp Suite. So it's one integrated tool, and you can do a lot of things with that. So anyway, Zap is a good tool too. I use it a lot because, like I said, I install in multiple places. I create virtual machines many times. Many times, the license will run out. I'll just install this and run the scan for me, because my goal is not web application testing when I'm on the internal side, but I still use it to run. If I see some important site within the company on the internal side, I'll just run this to see what I can find. Sometimes there'll be a default password, right? And another thing is Nessus. How many of you have heard about Nessus? Okay. Nessus is a good tool. Qualys is another tool, and we have license for that too, commercial licenses. So we just run Nessus, and Nessus is good with finding about patches that are missing. It will also find some default passwords on some common sites. So that is something you need to invest as a company. That's the cheapest way you can get it. There's Core Impact, and it's all good tools, but those are expensive. It runs anywhere from 10 to 20,000 per year for a company. Those tools. It's very sophisticated tools, but Nessus is around a couple of grand for a year, which is worth it for a consultant like me. The company don't mind because it saves a lot of time. We just run the scans. We use the results from those things.
It's Burp Suite 350 now.
350, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, it's, yeah, it'll be 200 pounds or something like that. So 250 pounds or something, so US, yeah.
I have a question, I mean, slightly back to system hacking kind of stuff. What is this net bias enumeration or scanning?
It's basically, see, this enumeration is all finding what is there, right? So you can, all these NetBIOS, they're chatty protocols. So they keep broadcasting all the time, right? So you just use it to find what machines are there on the network. Actually, I'll try to show you. That's one of the tools I was about to show you. Not related to NetBIOS, but how it detects using one of these protocols. That's how all the tools, any tool you find, is finding based on these protocols. All these NetBIOS and I don't know. Let me see. I don't have a demo setup, so I cannot demo you. But
I'd be interested to see if you have some virus where you can inject and then see what all it happens, kind of stuff.
can you see this diagram? I'm going to play this video, which I did, because I don't have a lab to show you, because I need a couple of Windows machine, and then I need Kali, and it takes a lot of RAM. I did this in a home machine. Do you want to see this video? Because it's an interesting video,
Sure.
and I think I also sent it to Venkatesh here, because he was interested in that. So this is in my blog, and can you see this? So this is, now let me walk you through this diagram, okay? And this is the course actually I was talking about. So if you guys are interested, this is what I show you how to set up in one machine, a lab, which you should do if you want to learn, okay? And I'll show you the Udemy link, which I can even give you free coupons or something, but I almost finished that course. But my goal is to teach people, and you need to start, because when I teach hacking techniques, you need to have a proper lab. Having Kali is good, but having Kali test against one Windows machine is okay, but it's not a realistic. It's not a production-like thing. But here, I show you how to set up a Windows Active Directory from scratch. Within 2 hours, less than 2 hours, you can set up this whole lab. You'll have an Active Directory, you have clients joining a domain, you have pfSense firewall, which is open source. Within 2 hours, you can set this whole lab. So once you have this base lab, then you can do all your the tricks, manning the middle attacks, scanning, and you can inject one-off viruses in this tool, and you can make it. You can learn. It's your imagination. But I already created this lab creation course. My next course is to be a pen test lab, which will be a few more additions, and I'll show you how to install like Metasploit and things like that. My next course after this is going to be hacking in this network. It will be more advanced Windows hacking. I'm going to start Windows
This
hacking.
is just setting it up.
That's right. My first course is just setting it up, because I want to start from scratch. Then I can use that as a baseline, and I can go from there. So that's why I'll show you like my course. But again, the reason is this is the network I used for this video. So I'm not sure. So you get this idea. Any questions on this one? So this is my host machine at home, okay, and it is connected to the ISP router, and that is connected to the internet. Okay, so you have internet connection. All these this pfSense has two interfaces, internal and external. Okay. All these machines are connected to the internal firewall or internal router. It's typical how a company works. They're connected to the internal. These connections have access to the internet through the pfSense. Okay? And I also show you how to create a firewall so these machines cannot see this machine. So your host machine is safe. So no malware or viruses can infect a host machine. That's how you want to keep it, right? And host machine cannot also see these things. Okay, so you have a segmented, isolated sandbox environment for you to play with, and you can for each mission you can have a snapshot, or you can export, re-import. Once you have this, it takes like I said 2 hours, less than 2 hours. You can go home today, follow the steps, and I'll also give you the PDF for you guys. I don't care. I don't really care about money, but the reason I put on Udemy just for my name, right? I want the people last time I put a Burp Suite 3-4 years back on Udemy, like 10,000 people just signed up. It's free, but at that time I didn't know how to create videos. I wasn't even practicing how to speak in front of the computer. So it was just a pilot course I created 3-4 years back. But now I went back a long time back, a few days back, and I checked out, it's like 10,000 people just logged it. I have a lot of bad feedback too, but some people said it's a nice thing. But like I said, I didn't prepare, I just recorded the videos and I just put it out there. So now I'm trying to improve myself and trying to learn. Like I said, the only way I can learn is by teaching people. And I can also know how to edit videos and things like that, right? That's important. And I created this lab. So anyway, I think you understand. Anyone have questions on this lab?
Yeah, what is that LLM and whatever?
That is the attack I'm showing.
What is the full form?
It is Link Local Multicast Resolution Protocol. Okay, it's a mouthful. And LLMNR, since you asked NetBIOS, that's why I brought this up. Okay, so LLMNR, which is what? Link Local.
Multicast.
No one knows this. Okay, even Windows administrators, they don't know these protocols. None of the companies know these
I've
protocols.
not heard this protocol.
Okay, but that is kind of NetBIOS. It is NetBIOS and LLMNR are two protocols which does broadcast. That is chatting protocols within Microsoft. They chat, they broadcast, and that's how they learn about each other. Okay, and that is the exploit we're going to show you right now. Okay, let me set the stage for you guys here. So when I go to a company, okay, you don't have to do anything. Okay, I just run this tool, a tool called Responder. Responder. Okay, I'm going to show the demo. Like I said, I cannot show you live because I need this lab setup, which I don't have it in this mission. Okay, so I run a tool called Responder. This Responder is like man in the middle. Okay, it will sit there and it's happy. It doesn't do any damage. It just sits there. Okay, but when some mission in the system, they try to go to a system which is not there. For example, any server, like people just do back a server name and then they go to a file share, or a browser, you mistype an URL, right? If anyone does it, all those requests will come to my machine. Why will it come to my machine? Do you know? Because my system is my responder is like a server. It will actually wait for that, listening for those requests. Okay. So how does resolution happen? How does DNS resolution? How does a system know where to go to?
It's in the DNS, right?
Okay, DNS is one way. If DNS fails, what happens next?
DHCP.
Everyone knows what is a DNS, right?
It's combination, right? Most of these days.
What is DNS? For people who don't know.
Domain names.
I know. So what does it do? A layman's terms.
Host name to IP address.
Yeah.
Okay, host name to IP addresses. Okay, so when I'm putting host name on the browser or a host name or server name on a like whack something, right? So that is one way, DNS. It either goes to the DNS for the internet or DNS, your local DNS within your
Right.
Microsoft or whatever, it goes there, right? What is the second stage your Windows system tries to do if it's not able to find it? What does it do?
Look for the local.
Local what? Host file.
Right.
Okay, that is the second stage. The third stage is what this happens. LLMNR NetBIOS. The third stage, it tries to look at these protocols and ask all the computers in the network. Say, hey, I tried DNS, I don't know. I tried local host file, it's not there. Do one of you know that? Answer to saying where this thing, that's where this responder comes into play. The responder is in the same network, it'll say, hey, I know that answer, and then it'll respond its own server name. Okay?
But if DNS failed, you basically it's English. So let's say it's ras.com. That comes to the DHCP. DNS is down. It looks at the global and it could not find. It didn't know what ras.com. Internal DNS was down. If these two are down, because DNS has the dictionary of the entire IPs, right? So if the network is not open, again this has to go through the routers and subnet and all of this, right? To find out if not everything is accessible, then you will not be able in a position to identify it, right?
Identify which one?
So what does ras.com mean? Ras.com.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it won't identify, but eventually it will come and say not found or something. But if I have this responder running, it will come to my machine, and for any request for anything, it will come to me, and I'll glad to be respond saying,
So
hey,
this
this is.
responder will be in router or where will
It's just a tool running on your local machine. It's a tool running on a Kali box.
Okay.
It's easy to install, and I'm going to show this video, and let's see. I mean, now you get the stage. So basically, what happens? It tries. So I'm going to an internal client system. I'm running this tool. Responder. Okay, it's just sitting. I'm not even scanning. I don't do anything. Okay, I'm just running this tool on internal systems. I've got domain admin credentials 90% of the time using this tool. You will get one credential from some client, and then you can use that to go to one system, and then you can dump the passwords from that machine. You can keep on jumping. I mean, it's not like one system you'll get everything, but that's a process, the initial process. Okay, I'm going to put the video. I don't know how it's going to show up.
And how did you get the license for Windows 2012?
Windows 2012, I talk about in the video. I have license because of my company. I have MST and subscription, but they have a free 180 days trial version. You can get it. So Windows 12 you can get it. Windows 10 they are free. Windows 7 you cannot get it, but you can spin two Windows 7 10s. They have 90-day thing. Like that's a good thing about these things. Once you know, you can wipe it out and then create a new lab, right? So it's you can keep on doing. You don't have to buy the license for these things. So Windows 10 is there, Windows 2012 is there. In my next course, I'm going to add Windows 2016 because a lot of companies are moving to Windows 2016. So, but everything that's shown in 2012, you can use it in Windows 2016 too. And they have free 180 days license. 6 months is good enough. Like I said, if after 6 months, there are ways to extend for another 6 months on the trial version,
Right.
or you can just reinstall. You get another 6 months, so you can keep doing that forever. But I have licenses on all my machines. I don't know how the voice and
Yeah, that's fine.
Hello everyone.
can you hear it?
In this session,
I mean, you
we will
want to
see
learn
how
see
to
this or you don't want? I mean, is it okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Play it.
exploit Windows systems without the knowledge of any passwords using a tool called Responder. So for this tutorial,
So if you have any
I will be
questions,
using a
pause me so
lab
we can,
which I set up,
We can ask any questions as you go along, so we can stop and we can review that. Okay?
and there is a step-by-step instructions on how to set this lab up if you're interested in following up with my demo. So there is a Windows 12 domain controller, and you have a Windows 10 system, you have a Windows 7 system, and I also have a Kali hacking box, and also have another system which we will be using as a file server, which again is a Windows 2012 system. So using this picture in mind, and let's go install the tool which is required to exploit.
So I'm
Windows
showing how to
network.
install that tool, so you can also take note of that. But again, this is my blog. I'll send you my blog. You can find instruction. But this is a tool which is just do a GitHub and then you can install. So it's like takes 2 minutes to install, or even 1 minute.
So go to this link, which is the Responder's GitHub repository, and you can clone the whole repository. And let's create a working environment and clone that Git file.
So this is how you get any files from GitHub. Most of the nice tools are in GitHub. Okay. So you get that link, the GitHub link, and you do a git clone and you get the files. So all the files in my local system. After downloading, you can look at the files or you can play with it, change it, or you do whatever you want.
So you should have a directory called Responder,
So those are the
and
files.
you see all the response.
So you can open responder.python and you can see what they're doing. So that's the way to learn, right? That's the best way to learn. Okay. Instead of learning through books and stuff, open and you'll have some questions. Google that. So that's the way you can keep learning what is it doing, right? How to change it, or you can steal some code from there and create your own tools. So that's the way you can easily play with it.
Ponder file, which is this is the Python file we'll be using for this demo, and also a couple of tools which are in the tools directory. So we'll be using this run finger to check and see if SMB is disabled on all the target systems, which is a requirement for this tool to work. And we'll also be using this multi-relay to relay the hashes that we capture from one system.
So did you get that? I said for run finger, I said SMB should be disabled. Do you know what that means?
Share file.
Yeah, so basically in 99% of the companies, SMB is disabled by default. No one has that. It's another security protocol because it comes with the encryption. So for example,
SMB Samba.
SMB is Samba, yeah, that's Samba, the same protocol, yes.
No,
SMB.
SMB normally won't disable, right?
Disabled in the sense that the encryption thing.
Like SMB 3, version 2 or 3.
Yeah, those things, right? So basically it needs to be, I'll show you how to run this tool and find it. I mean, it should be false. It should be set to false, which 99% of the time it's always false.
Okay.
But again, we if you want a very secure environment, we want you to do be that tool. Windows 2016 will enforce that, but Windows 2012 so far all the systems are disabled right now. But anyway, just
Assembly is enabled, but the encryption is not enabled.
that's right. That's how, for example, if you do RDP connection to a system, remote system, you can still do man-in-the-middle attacks using that too. It's not easy, but it's possible. But if you have this SMB encryption and things like that, it's not possible to encrypt.
When you do this RDP, usually it gives you TeamViewer or something, gives you a username and a password.
Uh-huh.
They ask you that, right, to log into that.
Yeah.
So in spite of that, you can still do a man-in-the-middle.
If SMB is if there's encryption is not enabled between the server and client, you can, but it's not easy. But it's possible. But so for high secure environments, we recommend that strongly. But most of the environments it's not there. So you can still use this
Another
attack
target
anywhere.
systems. So everything will be clear once we go through the demo. So don't worry if you don't follow anything at this time.
Either you are tracking.
So
What is
let's,
that?
Either you are tracking.
Oh, me out.
That's like a matching up.
and I'll also show you the Windows. This is the domain controller.
Yeah, the reason is when I did my Burp Suite course, which I told you 4-5 years back, I was using just the computer mic. I used this, I had another Mac, so I was talking, my voice wasn't clear. And a lot of people said I couldn't hear anything or something like that, so I bought like a $200 mic, which I just talk in front of it. That's why the voice is so loud. So that's what, I mean, I also learned, I bought like Camtasia. It's a learning process, how to record videos, edit it.
And this is the Windows 10 systems.
And also this is not like one take, right? I mean, I take a part of the video, stop it, and then take another video and attach it. So it's a learning thing. So I
recorded mine 3 times. I was not able to speak in front of.
Me too, I have the same issue. But again, that's the good thing with Camtasia. You can speak, you can edit it, and then you can keep adding stuff to it, right? I mean, that's why. So it's a learning, it takes time. What is it?
Free, right? Camtasia?
No, it's money. I bought that too. It's
$200.
$200 to $3. There are ways to get it for free, but yeah, I just bought it. It helps me to record videos.
So this system is 2016,
That's
and
IBM.
the Windows 7 system.
Yeah, stop me when you have any questions, okay? So these are the client systems in the lab, okay? This is exactly
This
what
system
I'm
is currently at 192, 168, 1210. So this would be the target
Right,
or the
192.
victim system, which
What is NetBIOS actually?
It is, NetBIOS is, there is a big RFC article on that. It's basically broadcast and channel protocols. I mean, that's what Microsoft talks with each other. That is required to identify systems within the network. So there is an RFP, I'll show you after this thing. It's a big one, and you can learn about it. And even when you're setting up an Active Directory, which I'll show you, you set up that NetBIOS name. And because that is what these tools are using to exploit. LLM and R using that and NetBIOS. Because they talk to each other. The systems in the local network, they talk with each other.
we will be exploiting using the credentials captured from this Windows 10 systems. So when I mean credentials, we're not going to steal the credentials, but we're going to be capturing the hashes of using a technique which I'll be
So responder,
showing.
when you do that, it doesn't give you the passwords. Okay, it does give you something called hashes. Okay, that is what you use, and that hash is not same as you dump from the Windows systems, like local system or from the Active Directory. There's a file called NTDS. That's not the same hash. This is a different hash. What you get from this responder tool, which again you'll see there.
And also, let me go check the server.
So this is the server which is running. I think this is this is just a
This
file
is the
server.
file server which I talked about.
So we have one file server and 2 client systems and 1 Active Directory in this network. Okay, local network.
So this is at 1.2.12, and I believe the domain controller is 200. So let's check that as well.
So that's where we are trying to go.
So the domain controller is at 1.200. So let's go and launch responder.
Okay, so watch this carefully. So you're just launching. Look how easy it is to just launch. I just downloaded from GitHub and I'm just launching it. Okay. Now,
Using the default command. So basically we're telling the responder to run at ETH0, which is the default interface on the.
So ETH0 is the local network. So I'm trying to broadcast this to my whole local network, right? That's all it takes most of the time.
This whole network. So when responder is running, you can see the different services it's turned on.
So you see that NBTNS, that is the NetBIOS. Okay, that is on. LLMNR is on. DNS is on. So it is acting as a server, DNS server. It is acting as an LLM server. It is using serving as an NBTNS. Okay, it can also be it is also an HTTPS server right here. You see that?
Oh.
Okay, it is doing a WPAT, which we can enable it, which I think I'll show you. You know what is WPAT?
No,
Anyone?
we'll have to.
Okay, so whenever most of the companies they have this WPAT pack file. It's a pack file. So whenever your browser launches, it is set up in your browser. Some of you can go check your companies. They may or they may not do it. So it will go to a server and it will fetch all the policies. It's like a proxy thing. So it will get all the rules and stuff like that using the proxy file. So we can also be a man in the middle. We will serve this WFAT to whatever we want to be. So we can do a DNS poisoning using the WFAT attack. So anyway, the SMB, so Kerberos, it's doing all these things: SMTP, POP3, IMAP, FTP. So if you strip this code open, learn from this tool. I mean, you know a lot. I mean, you can learn a lot. Everything is in the source files. Open the source files and see how they're doing all these things.
So what are they doing exactly with this?
It is run